How a woman feels when she realizes she lost you. High value. Men must know when a woman truly realizes she's lost a high-value man. It's more than just missing someone. It's a powerful wake-up call. She starts seeing what she took for granted, every trait she brushed off, every moment she let slip away. This isn't just about regret, it's about facing the hard truth that some losses are irreplaceable. The initial shocks stick around because what she feels is deeper than you think, and understanding this can change how you move forward. Section 1. The initial shock and denial. The first wave she experiences is a confusing mix of emotions, like a storm brewing out of nowhere. At first, she may not even recognize that she feels a sense of loss, because her ego might convince her that it's no big deal, that she's fine without you. But as the reality of your absence sets in, her mind starts to run through countless scenarios, trying to rationalize and make sense of what's happened. This shock is like a slap in the face, a sudden realization that she has lost something valuable, and it catches her completely off guard. This is because in her mind, she never truly imagined you would walk away, or that she'd be left with only memories of you in this phase. She'll comparison. Begins replay, countless moments with you, seeking to understand where things started to unravel. She'll look at texts, scroll through photos, and go over past conversations, clinging to any detail that might help her make sense of things. Her pride might still be telling her she's better off, but her heart and mind are now struggling against this wall of denial. And as each day passes, she finds it harder and harder to suppress these memories, which seem to resurface with even more clarity. The shock becomes a wake-up call, one that tells her she's lost someone with qualities she may not find in anyone else. It's not just about missing you, it's about the raw realization that she may have pushed away one of the best things that ever happened to her. This initial stage is often painful, as it's not just a loss of a person, but a deep crack in her perception of herself. She might ask herself, did I make a mistake? Was I wrong about him? These questions linger and fester, creating a powerful mix of regret and uncertainty that she'll struggle to ignore. This is the regret and self-reflection moment, where she faces her own ego, which once reassured her she'd be fine without you. But now that confidence falters as the truth settles in losing you wasn't something she was prepared for, and she's left wondering if she'll ever find someone quite like you again. Section 2. The comparison game begins once the shock fades. She finds herself slipping into a constant cycle of comparison. Every man she encounters now becomes a yardstick against which she measures the depth, uniqueness, and impact you had on her life. She may go on dates, meet new people, and try to move forward, but there's an invisible shadow over every interaction, and that shadow is you. Each time she encounters a new person, she can't help but assess them against the qualities. You had qualities she had come to expect, but didn't fully appreciate. Until now, this comparison stage is far deeper than just casual assessments. It's an exploration into what she truly values and what you represented in her life when she meets men who lack the patience you showed her or the ambition you brought to the table. She starts noticing just how rare those traits are. She'll remember your resilience, your calmness in difficult times, and your ability to stay grounded. Desire to reconnect all these things start standing out to her as priceless qualities. Yet she's aware that not everyone possesses them. It's a humbling realization that there is no substitute for certain qualities, and that in some way she may have lost something irreplaceable. She'll look at other relationships around her, comparing the behaviors, attitudes, and principles of other men with yours. In moments where others fall short or behave differently than you would, she'll feel an ache, a subtle but growing void that reminds her of what she let go. It's a phase marked by silent regret, as she realizes that not every man has the capacity to make make her feel the way you did. She begins to see that the connection you two shared, even if imperfect, was built on characteristics that are incredibly hard to find through each comparison. She learns more about what makes a high-value man so distinct. She realizes that these qualities aren't just surface-level traits, but deep-rooted values and principles that guide every decision and action. In this phase, she might even start admiring your self-discipline, patience and dedication in a way she never did before, understanding that these are qualities most people struggle to embody, and as her understanding grows, so does her regret. Each new encounter, acceptance and growth, each failed connection only deepens the sense of what she's lost. Section 3. Regret and self-reflection as the reality of her loss truly settles in. She enters a phase of intense regret. This is a stage where she no longer seeks outside distractions to ease her mind or tries to meet new people to fill the void. Instead, she's left to face herself, and the regret is not just about losing you. It's about losing a version of herself that once resonated with someone as grounded as you. This stage is marked by moments of deep introspection, where she questions her choices, actions, and even her own values. In these quiet moments, she starts realizing the weight of her decisions, the little arguments, the dismissive actions, or the lack of appreciation. All these things start surfacing in her mind, and she begins to understand her own role in pushing you away. She may question if she truly valued you, or if her ego got in the way. This isn't an easy realization. Lingering reminders, as it's an acknowledgement of her own flaws, insecurities and behaviors that led to this outcome. The regret she feels isn't fleeting. It's the kind of regret that lingers, that GWs at her. With each passing day, she may find herself thinking about what could have been if she had just valued you a little more, been a little more understanding, or given the relationship a real chance. These thoughts are painful as they reveal her own shortcomings and the fact that in many ways you were the one who showed up fully in the relationship. While she held back, this phase of self-reflection forces her to confront her own insecurities and emotional immaturity. It becomes a lesson, though a painful one, that reminds her of the importance of valuing someone who treats her well and supports her growth. She begins to see the depth of what you offered, not just as a partner, but as a person with principles, integrity and values that are hard to come by. This reflection may lead her to question her own sense of self-worth and what she truly wants in a relationship. It's a humbling moment, and she realizes that sense of emptiness. She lost not only a great partner, but also a version of herself that had the potential to grow alongside someone remarkable. Section 4. The desire for reconnection. As the regret settles in, she'll feel a strong urge to reconnect. This isn't just an impulse to reach out, but a deep longing to re-experience what she had with you. She'll feel compelled to talk to, clear the air, and perhaps to apologize for things she once brushed off. This desire to reconnect often feels overwhelming, because it's driven by a sense of unfinished business and the need to fill the void left by your absence. It's no longer about pride or ego. It's about finding peace with a decision she now realizes was a mistake. She might even try to convince herself that given another chance she could make things right. This desire for reconnection is rooted in the realization that you were someone who brought out a better version of her. Even if she didn't acknowledge it at the time, she'll look back at your actions, your consistency and your patience, understanding that these are qualities that made her feel safe, valued and seen. Understanding her mistakes, and now she's willing to do what she can to bring that back. The problem with this stage is that by the time she realizes all this, it may already be too late. You've likely moved on, grown, and become even stronger without her presence. This realization is part of the regret, as she knows deep down that reaching out now may be futile, but the desire remains because it's not about what's possible, it's about what she wishes could be, even if it's only a distant dream section. 5. Acceptance and growth. Finally, after all the emotions, regrets and attempts at reconnection, she arrives at acceptance. This stage isn't necessarily peaceful, it's more of a resigned understanding that some things cannot be undone. She'll accept that you've moved on, and that her chance to be with someone like you has passed. This acceptance forces her to grow, to let go of her old patterns, and to finally take responsibility for her choices. It's here that she may find a lesson that impacts her future relationships. Though she may desire for self-improvement, never find someone quite like you. In this acceptance, she learns to value herself differently. Perhaps recognizing the importance of loyalty, integrity, and humility, she might realize that what she lost was a partner and a version of herself she admired but could not sustain. This acceptance becomes a foundation for her to rebuild, to approach future relationships with more maturity, and to cherish what she has when she has it. But there will always be a part of her that remembers you not as a mere chapter, but as a lesson in valuing the rare and irreplaceable qualities of a high-value man. Section 6. The lingering reminders. After she begins to accept that she lost you, she's faced with countless reminders of what once was. These reminders aren't just limited to old photos, memories, or mutual friends. They seep into everyday moments that make her realize what she had. It might be a song that plays on the radio, something you used to sing along to, or a scent that brings her right back. Imagining what-if scenarios to a specific memory of you. Even ordinary activities like passing by a place you both visited or hearing someone mention a book you recommended can bring up a surge of emotions she wasn't prepared for. These reminders are a constant silent presence, highlighting the emotional imprint you left on her life as she encounters these pieces of the past. She can't escape the feeling that she lost something profound. Every reminder acts like a mirror, reflecting not only what you shared, but also the growth, comfort, and understanding that marked your relationship. She may attempt to dismiss these reminders, to brush them off as nothing, but as they become more frequent, they deepen her sense of loss. As these moments stack up, she begins to realize that her life with you was filled with unique and irreplaceable experiences. These weren't just surface-level interactions. They were memories that shaped her, made her feel safe, and gave her a sense of belonging. These reminders are like ghosts of what could have been, following her as silent but persistent witnesses of a connection that once meant everything. Section 7. The growing sense of emptiness. Once she recognizes that no new experience can fully replace what you brought to her life, an empty, realizing she won't find another feeling starts to settle in. This is more than just loneliness. It's an emptiness that comes from losing someone who deeply understood her. She realizes that there is a void, and this void is a testament to what you brought into her life, a space that no one else seems able to fill. This isn't just about missing you as a person. It's about missing the way she felt around you. The way you made her feel, seen, valued, and respected. As she tries to fill this emptiness, she might turn to distractions, immerse herself in new hobbies, or even seek out new relationships. But with each attempt to replace what she's lost, she's met with the same hollow feeling each time she meets someone new or engages in something she thinks might distract her. She finds that it only serves as a temporary escape. The emptiness remains like a quiet reminder of the unique bond she shared with you, a bond that went beyond superficial interactions and was rooted in true connection and understanding. This emptiness can often be a catalyst for her to look within and recognize the impact you had on her. She realizes that you weren't just someone passing through her life, but a person who added depth and meaning. This realization intensifies her regret, making her wish she had held embracing the lesson on to you, cherished you more, and appreciated the stability you provided. Section 8. Realizing the depth of her mistakes. In the quiet of self-reflection, she starts to see her own mistakes more clearly than ever before. It's no longer about just feeling regret. It's about understanding the specific actions and attitudes that led to this outcome. This is the phase where she begins to confront the habits, insecurities, and assumptions that drove a wedge between you two. She may remember times when she dismissed your kindness or took your efforts for granted. She might recall arguments where she let her pride dictate her actions, pushing you away rather than choosing understanding. The realization of her mistakes is deeply humbling. She sees how in small moments she could have been kinder, more supportive, or more patient. Every little action she now regrets feels magnified, and she begins to understand that it wasn't just one moment that led to losing you, but a series of small choices that accumulated over time. Each memory acts as a reminder of how little by little she eroded the foundation of what you two had. This phase is often painful because it forces her to take accountability. Something she may have avoided in the past. She has to outro and call to action, admit that the loss she feels is partially due to her own actions and choices. As she comes to terms with this, she realizes that the qualities you possessed, your patience, understanding, and loyalty, were rare, and that her failure to nurture those qualities in you was a significant mistake. Section 9. The desire to improve herself. Following the intense self-reflection and accountability, she begins to feel a genuine desire to improve herself. Losing you has become a catalyst for personal growth, as she now understands that certain traits or behavior she held on to have ultimately held her back from experiencing a deep, meaningful connection. This isn't an easy phase. It's uncomfortable, as it forces her to face parts of herself she previously ignored or just justified. She might realize that she needs to work on her communication skills, her ability to trust, or her tendency to let pride overshadow what truly matters. This self-improvement journey often leads her to seek out resources, whether it's self-help books, therapy, or advice from friends. She's now motivated by the understanding that if she doesn't change, she risks losing valuable connections again. While she might have brushed off these issues in the past, losing you has given her the push she needed to confront them. Head-on, her desire to grow is rooted in the hope that one day she might be able to experience the kind of connection she had with you once more. She knows that she can't change the past, but this phase allows her to work towards a better future. It's a form of tribute to what you represented in her life, a reminder that high-value relationships require high-value qualities. She realizes that if she wants someone of your caliber in her life, she must also become someone who values and nurtures such a connection. And that's the journey she goes through when she realizes she's lost a high-value man. It's a powerful reminder of the impact you bring simply by being true to yourself and your values. If you found this insight valuable, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more wisdom on Stoicism, relationships, and self-mastery. Drop a comment below on what stood out most to you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and stay grounded.